warm welcome to Professor Izura Udzir, from UPM, who's gonna do our keynote speech today. So I'd like to invite Professor Adnan to do the honor to introduce her.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker for today, Associate Professor Dr. Izura Udzir is currently the Director for Co-Curriculum and Student Development Center at University Putra Malaysia. He is also a lecturer at the Faculty of Computer Science, in the same Computer Science and Information Technology in the same university. She has been with that university since 1998. Her professional expertise is in the area of information and computer security. She received her PhD in computer science from York in the UK, York University. She has published 3 books, over 100 journal articles, and over 100 conference papers. And she was also the recipient of the MIMOS prestigious award in 2015. She has supervised and co-supervised over 50 PhD students and over 15 master by research students. I guess without further ado, please join me to welcome Associate Professor Dr. Izura Udzir to the stage to deliver her talk. The title of her talk is Interdisciplinary Issues in Cybersecurity Research.
Thank you, Prof. Adnan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning, everybody. Firstly, I would like to apologize for my delay in arriving here. Well, when I started from UPM, it was before 9 o'clock, and the ETA was 9:50. And then suddenly, along the way, the traffic was heavier than usual. We took this route and that route, and I guess we went all over the place just to avoid the traffic, but we still were caught in the traffic. So, as we said, we can only plan, but his planning is the best. Maybe there's some blessing in disguise there. Right. Firstly, I would like to thank Professor Adnan for the opportunity for me to share a little bit about these interdisciplinary issues in cybersecurity research. I've been doing this research in cybersecurity since I came back from my PhD in the UK, and Alhamdulillah, it was a very I would say a very interesting field because security is needed everywhere. Yeah. So Prof. Adnan has already introduced me. Right, the MIMOS prestigious award was for the supervision of my PhD student for his doctoral on intrusion detection using, of course, anomaly detection and statistical based. Now, why do we want to talk about internet or interdisciplinary research? So we can see nowadays, everybody is, this is common knowledge that everybody now is connected to the internet, almost everybody. And as of July this year, we have over 4 billion active internet users worldwide, and this comprises of 56% of the world population. Okay, and how we rely on the computer. consideration of a certain security. Information national mistake, for example. About this on the confidentiality, the integrity, and also the availability. Yeah. So when we say that something the actually a breach of security, the A part has been compromised. Yeah. And then, of course, the importance of this is shifting depending on the organization. Part of the information security control. For example, when we talk about firewalls, yeah, because of the information security, people are not as layer security. For stronger security, we have to have many layers. And in terms of control, so it can be a prevent. Right. Again, everything is on the computer. So that's a little introduction and overview on the importance of computer security or cyber security. So now, when we talk about cybersecurity research, these are some of the areas in cybersecurity research, like cryptography, biometrics, network security, cyber law, and so on. So my research is mainly on the intrusion detection system, also in cryptography, biometrics, steganography, access control, and privacy. So these are mainly my research areas, but I and so on. So these are the things also when we talk about IoT, the security of it. Yeah, when everything is interconnected. Yeah, your car, the car is controlled by the computer, for example, the intelligent car, the smart car, and so on. So there has to be some kind of security measure or security mechanism before it can, or I mean, to protect it from being hijacked, for example. So across several fields with non-computer science disciplines, like in terms of policy, management, social science, medical, agriculture, I'm sure we all know about all these interdisciplinary things, because everything is now on technology related to ICT. So the cybersecurity part is a very crucial part in all these things. For example, every work role in the legal advice and advocacy, strategic planning, policy and executive cyber leadership specialties require don't together to find the results and to the cybersecurity. Or the mining equipment technologies. Sorry. Or the advanced manufacturing, gas, food. Yeah, the laws and regulations. So to involve sharing between entities, vulnerabilities, the cyber incidents have been reported also to attack public sector government. For example, in 2014 or 2013, the almost, I think more than 10, 14 ministries in Malaysia have been attacked by this web defacement attack, where they change the website of all these. Although it seems harmless, but it shows that they are not that secure when it can be. Within one night it can be done. Yeah, they did the web attack, and then critical national infrastructure. Or in Malaysia, we have the CNII and the cybersecurity risk landscape. Yeah, with online transactions, like personal, or even some cashless payment, for example. So these things are what we consider as also cybersecurity part, research that we need to look. The internet jurisdiction law, for example, where there is a problem of assigning the legal authority to a particular forum. When the suit traverses multiple states, for example, the citizenship of the subject. Now there is a concept of digital citizenship. In of a country. Citizenship of the data creator, of the data holder, and the custodian. Yeah, so then it also to military operations and also on the nuclear operations. So these are some of the cybersecurity, especially those related to of the space, for example, awareness, the game theory, cognition, vulnerability detection, attack detection, network analysis, and so on. And then in terms of the security of the industrial control system, yeah, the SCADA system, yeah, such as the power grid, the emergency management, to integrate with the cyber security. Okay, and then the CPS also, cyber physical system with the infrastructure. So we can say that critical infrastructure would involve food and agriculture, yeah, of course, banking and financing, chemical, commercial facilities, communications, critical manufacturing dams. All these are now integrated with technology, with ICT. So therefore, it needs to be, so cybersecurity comes in here. Then these are some of the examples also in the Silicon Valley. Yeah, the most common cybersecurity resource investment. We can see the highest one will be on the monitoring and the assessment of the system, and then the policies and the controls and percent confident in the security of their company information. Percent are storing their in the public cloud, because some there's some we could say trust issue in the, I mean, the cloud system has not been able to users of their security. So then cybersecurity in the healthcare, yeah, medical applications, the AI or artificial neural network, and you presented about the also on the neural network as well for intrusion detection. AIS, artificial immune system, also have been used for intrusion detection and prevention, and also biometrics. When we know about this, yeah, biometrics have been used for authentication, the iris, facial recognition, fingerprints, voice, and so on. Now we can see this is an example of the medical devices that can be in the patient. And then Internet of Medical Things. So we know that the medical information would so and this is a lot of money, but so we could say that, you know, this is also why it is important to have I mean, cybersecurity should be integrated in these areas as well. And in education, nowadays people are talking about the MOOC, yeah, massive for the credentials, the transcripts, and personal identifiable. Yeah, ransomware attacks. Ransomware has been known to attack students. Yeah, I'm sure you know about ransomware, where the attacker would encrypt your files in your computer, and you cannot even access your own files. And if you want to access it, to unlock the files, you need to pay a certain amount of that money. Then the risk of data breach and compromised data records, as I say, in terms of, for example, the integrity of the academic records. So the types of data breaches, for example, in terms the hacking and malware has been the highest one, 36%, and then unintended disclosure. So this is an attack on the privacy, or the privacy data breach. The portable device, the stationary device, the physical loss, insider threats also, and some of them are also unknown attacks. It's some, so we could say, you can statistics, 4,000 ransomware attacks occur on a daily basis in the US alone. 4,000. Yeah. And according to the new study, data breach in education sector also has cost $245 dollars, per compromised record on. So the seemingly, you could say, perhaps some people think that, the education sector might not be target. People, I mean, the criminals would target the banks, the financial institution, or the medical example. But we can see here in the education sector itself has become victims of these cyber attacks. So we need to have some kind of mechanism also here. In terms of agriculture, yeah, agriculture is one of the sectors because is needed. Food is one of the vital thing, right? So nowadays, I mean, agriculture. So all, of course, would require some degree of security. Yeah, with business, many of which are as also lagging behind technologically, and the weak supplies or weak links in the supply chains, for example. So proper cybersecurity security and risk management, for example. Yeah. So if I may, a little bit on the information security management. Because when we talk about information security and the management of of the technical people, and or normally they would be like situated in the basement of the organization. But nowadays we should see information security as to be the organization-wide responsibility, from top management until to all employees. So part of the information security management is on the change management, change control, for example, because we cannot prevent change. We cannot stop change. Everything is continually changing, dynamic in the dynamic world. So the change can introduce loopholes, overlaps, or missing objects and oversights that can lead to new vulnerabilities. Yeah? So the only way to maintain security is to systematically manage the change. Like identify the agents of change. That responsible to make it possible. The management we the computer for the new hires program. it would involve the roles and responsibilities and else. Difference between governance and management. So the management would make decisions to mitigate the risk, but the governance determines who is authorized to make those decisions. And the management ensures that the controls are implemented to mitigate the risk. The governance specifies the accountability framework and provides oversight to ensure that the risks are adequately mitigated. And management would recommend security strategies. The governance ensures that the security strategies are aligned with the business objectives. Yeah. So governance would mean doing the right thing, whereas management doing things right. So these are the things that has to be in place also when we talk about information security. Then we could have a proper policies. The risk management also, yeah, it has to be an ongoing process. So this is why information, or we could say, should be embraced by the top management, the top executive management as well, because it would mean cost, it would mean human resource, personnel, and so on. Yeah. So they in a mindset operation in the organization to be integrated into the day-to-day thinking and decision-making for a near impenetrable operation. So if you don't have a security culture, then it will allow for uncertainty and maybe lead to security incidents. Yeah. So this normally happens because everyone is literally working in silo. So rather than doing what they can to truly improve the security, they are normally, when they're doing what they do, okay, I don't care what other people do, and so on. I mean, the simplest security control, for example, is on the confidentiality of the password. Yeah? I mean, the security people or the top management may know that you should not disclose your password. But what about the clerk, or what about the typist? Yeah? We often find passwords written and hidden beneath the keyboard, for example, or sometimes they just stick it to their PC, because password sometimes is difficult to remember. So these are some of the, we can see, the simplest thing. That is why the security culture is very important. And they feel that well, I'm just a typist, I'm a nobody, so I don't even need to put a password on my computer. Just a typist. I'm doing just not very significant work. But sometimes they forget that as a typist they may be required to to have some confidential files. For example, looking at this in a simple scenario that people normally overlook, those people who are not very aware of the security risks, for example. So how do we fix the disconnect? Be interested. in fostering a positive security culture. So, however, this is often absent. And get so it's an the culture, the information below is a priority. Role as rep in the state. It is also the most and painful of. So to create a security culture. And strong. Uh, so trends that have led to the increase. Thank you for your attention.
Question. Everything, soon, or probably already there, our society will be, there'll be a lot of introduction of robots on that. As co-workers, can be part of, making blockchain there. What are most of these security issues?
Thank you, Prof, for on the cyber-physical system, the robotic things. I mean, the research on this, the work on this have been have started for several years now, and we have also involved in this for the cyber-physical system, the robotic parts for this. I mean, the cybersecurity is a must in this, because we don't want, for example, your robot, your who be doing, for example, doing your household chore, being hijacked or being attacked by people and doing something else, or they become a spy, for a third party or another party. So these are cybersecurity, and also, I mean, you might want the robots to do exactly what you want to do, but you also require some security mechanism to of course, yeah, when we talk about security, it normally would involve like intrusion, yeah, from outside that can hack or hack the robots, but it could also caused by internal functions of the robots itself. So these are the things. There are so many research that can be, come from this area itself, on the robotic and cyber-physical system or the embedded systems. Your second question, the blockchain. Yes, the blockchain is mainly, or the main goal is to what do you call this? To preserve the integrity of the data because of the chain, so we can trace back the originality of the data or the transaction and so on. So there is a tremendous opportunity for applying blockchain. And nowadays we can see that, I mean, the main ones that people are looking at is on the cryptocurrency, right? But it's not only on that. For example, we normally we would have a data center and that, simply share access. So some kind of this has already been, I mean, the basic ones have in place. And then when we talk about the, like, as I said, in the, if we have now, the ministry have also encouraged the universities to have the massive online open course where we have every just it's just that registration process needs to be there, and so these things has to be properly checked, to authenticate. Is it really the student sitting for the exam, yeah, or somebody else is sitting on his behalf, for example. So as simple as that, yeah, the issue. Uh, for example, like MIT or Stanford, they're offering these open online courses, and anybody can just register. But they have the mechanism. For a certain topic, you have to, go through a certain topic, watch the video, and so on. Do the exercises, the quiz. Then you can go to the next one, and there have to be some checking mechanism to authorize, or sorry, to authenticate, and then to authorize the user on this. So if we were going towards that direction. But as I said, the main thing is the protection of the personal data, the protection of the information in the institution itself is very important for this. Yes, sir. Yes.
I have one question. The topic was interdisciplinary research. How, from your point of view, how do you see in area of cybersecurity in standardizing the terminologies? Because when we do interdisciplinary, the terminology is going to be painstaking process.
Yes.
But from your point of view, how do you see to move forward the standardization of such terminology that resides within cybersecurity?
Yes. All right. Thank you. There is actually a research also. I mean, people have done research. I mean, overseas. I can't remember who's the researcher on this ontology. Yes, it is said that it is important to standardize that so that it can be understood by all yeah interdisciplinary, yeah, all disciplines. So this is I mean it has been going on this to standardize the terminologies and research on the ontologies as well. For example, in the let's say in the management, yeah, in the management discipline, when we say high level, this is a high level issue, for example, or high level thing to do. Science. Simple, right? But it is the when you say low level would mean more difficult because it would involve doing it with the hardware, the things. High level are normally on the user, end user, end user perspective, which is more like you know how to use it, you know, say things like that. So. I first came I first came back PhD about, so I said, well, it's a rather low level. I was doing on a middleware open distributed system and things like that, yeah, middleware on the OS part and so on. So it's rather low level. I explained to him a little bit, and then he said, that's not low level, that's very high level. So I said, okay, then it occurred to me that in some area, low level and high level mean different things. There can be a contrast in that. Yes, I agree with you. The standardization has to be there so that it can be, you know, understood by everybody, because we be you mean for the terminologies? Or for the cybersecurity, not the terminologies. The cyber. Okay. In the well, for the standard is what people use common most commonly. People would refer to the NIST, National Information Security Standard, something like that. But of course, it's from the US, and but it has been we could say it has been used or referred to worldwide, especially in the research community. But on the government side, yes, Malaysian we have in Malaysia we have I mean under the MOSTI, yes, cybersecurity. Malaysia is one of the agencies to our the secretariat. We have had some. I think that was 10 years ago. I was also involved as one of the expert reference in this group for the cybersecurity roadmap for Malaysia and to develop the blueprint and so on for the cybersecurity for Malaysia. And they, of course, it's under MOSTI at that time, and the secretariat was, it was taken. The in charge was the CSM, Cybersecurity Malaysia, and it involved all the security professionals, academicians, and experts in the country. So I'm not sure how, the current status of this standard, but I would say that somehow the steps have been taken, and somehow perhaps it is already in place. Yeah.
Right, thank you so much, Prof. Now I'd like to invite Prof. Adnan on the stage to give a little bit token of appreciation. Now I would like to invite everyone for a photography session in front. Please come forward. Everyone, please come forward.